Good evening, folks. It's Connie with Distraction News. It's been a hot minute since you and I have met. I went on a little hiatus. You know, every show goes on a little bit of a hiatus every now and then. Even our beloved Ozarks has gone on a hiatus before. And so, we're not a real news network, so we really can film whenever the hell we want to. And so, there was a hot minute there when I just didn't feel like I had the creative flow to do what I needed to do to provide you with your not so newsworthy news. You know what I mean? Anyway, we've had a lot going on in the country, and if you've been living under a rock, you wouldn't know about it. And actually, it kind of makes me think maybe rocks are the place to be living right now. Under them or in them, in a cave somewhere, unplugged, away from society altogether, because it's a shit show, folks. It hasn't gotten any better since you and I last talked. You thought it would, because we were in the 5-phase plan of J.G. Wentworth, and that was going pretty well, it seemed like. We're stuck in phase 4. We're heading back to phase 3, it feels like. We'll see, folks, we'll see. Let's talk pandemic, shall we? That's what we're talking about, so we might as well talk pandemic. We were stuck in phase 2 and safe at home for quite some time, and then phase 3 came about where restaurants could have outdoor eating, and then eventually phase 4 rolled in where you could eat and socially distance inside of a restaurant. And I'm not really sure how that works, because you have to wear a mask if you're going to the bathroom or if you're in the restaurant, except for when you're sitting, and you have to be 6 feet apart. So I'm not really keen on the logistics here. Not every restaurant is open either for indoor seating, so you pretty much have to figure that out on your own. And then you have to really know the details of the 5-phase plan, because now we're partitioned into 11 districts within the 5-phase plan, and some of the districts are going back into phase 3 of the 5-phase plan instead of being in phase 4. It's a lot of confusion, people, a lot of confusion. And you know what, let's just kind of recap where we were, okay? We were talking when we spoke last, and the Tiger King was the hot topic of the minute, and don't we just miss it? We do. You know why we miss it? Because a lot of shit has gone down since the Tiger King. And we've had, you know, just a slew of things, you know, aside from being in a complete and utter total world of chaos. We've had election news and all sorts of political debates and so forth, which has led to a lot of different things, you know, like peaceful protests and looting and, you know, businesses being completely destroyed at the hands of human beings when we don't have anything to do. I warned us, when idle hands have nothing to do, they will run amok and create chaos. Now, on to other news. Travel bans, folks, travel bans. We're not really sure about this, because what they're saying is there are travel bans coming into the state of Illinois and other areas around the country. Like if you travel to Wisconsin, you will have to quarantine for 14 days in your house, a voluntary quarantine. Now, who the hell is doing this? Nobody. You think anybody's being honest? Going back to a distraction news that I had a few weeks back, maybe months, I don't really know anymore, folks. They all blend together. Anyway, we talked about things that we do when we don't follow directions. Who in God's green earth thinks that anybody who is traveling to any of these states is really quarantining? Self-monitored quarantine. It's not happening, people. I can tell you that right now. Just look at the basketball and the baseball bubbles right now. Athletic professionals. They can't even stay away from a bar or a strip club, and then they infect everybody on the team. I mean, it's a complete shit show. So they might as well just not even have those travel bans. I feel like it's a complete waste of taxpayers' money to have a department of a government saying, well, now Wisconsin has a travel ban, can't come into the state of Illinois, except if you work in the state of Illinois, then you're allowed to cross the border. But you have to have a mask on and socially distance. You should be self-quarantining, but you're not, because you work in the state of Illinois, and that's bringing dollars into the state of Illinois. So whatever, I don't know, I don't understand. I'm just here to report the news. And speaking of the news, Ellen coming under fire. I have no idea why. They say she's mean or something. I don't know. She seems like a delightful human being who's a philanthropist and throws money around at all sorts of different organizations and has done really good in life. You know what I say? I say suck it up, people. Guess what? When you run an organization, at some point you kind of need to be a bitch because people will walk all over you and take advantage of you. It's called working with a tough hand. And if guys do it, they're strong, they're tough. But if women do it, we're mean, we're vindictive, we're horrible human beings. Did she even do anything? Are these complaints coming against Ellen? No, they're coming against some of her crew members. I mean, and now she's taking the backlash for it all? This world has just become too sensitive. Speaking of sensitive, it hurts when you get a vaccine, you know, in your arm, a shot. And that's what's under hot debate. Vaccinations. The vaccination, to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. Well, I'm not gonna be in line when they first come out with this vaccination. Well, the whole world is freaking safe at home and wearing masks because they need to vaccinate in order for us to go into the 5-phase plan. But then they're saying, no, it's just a mask at first, and then it's gonna be you can't go anywhere without a vaccination. I mean, our parents didn't give a rat's ass about this shit. They were like, oh, you have a measles vaccination? Sign my kid up. We're doing that because that's what it takes to be vaccinated and to have a cure for some sort of ailment. I get the flu shot every year, people. I'm doing A-okay. I'm super healthy. I'm fine. Masks, the great mask debate. This is another thing that's a hot topic, folks. It's, do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? Do masks help you? Does it prevent you from having enough CO2 to go into your body? Is it oxygen? I don't know, whatever. Does it prevent you from having enough oxygen coming into your lungs? Are you just breathing back the carbon dioxide that you're breathing out that plants need to live off, and then plants produce oxygen, which, by the way, I've added a lot of plants to my work area. I feel like, hey, if it can help your lungs, then why not bring the house full of plants? Anyway, the great mask debate. Does it really help? I don't know. I don't know, people. I just don't know what the answer is to this. Does it hurt? It seems to be everybody's in compliance with it, but it seems to be a hot topic of debate. Like, people just want to completely debate the mask situation. Listen, let's think back to last year's flu season. Did you wear a mask? People died of that. I don't know, folks. Anyway, gloves. Gloves seems to be where everybody drew the line. They're like, fine, remember the big propaganda was masks and gloves. Wear your masks and wear your gloves. I can see you now. I'm much smarter too when I wear my glasses. You wear your masks and you wear your gloves. And then people were like, fine, I understand the masks, but I'm not wearing freaking rubber gloves. You can fly a kite. You don't see rubber gloves being tossed around stores or people saying you can't come in here without rubber gloves. People drew the line in the sand. That's where the line was drawn. It was drawn at gloves, in case you wanted to know. Open or close? Open or close, people? We don't know. States are opening, then they're closing, and then stores are opening, and then they're closing, and restaurants are opening, and then they're closing. People don't know what they're doing, so we don't know what phase we're in. Sports. No sports, 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 no sports. NFL, no NFL. Preseason, no preseason. For sure gonna have fans, not gonna have fans. NASCAR, Indy 500, fans. No fans. It's so confusing. Your head actually could spin around 3 times because of how much whiplash you're going to be getting between we're not having it, we're having it, yes, it's open, no, it's closed, wear a mask, don't wear a mask, you should wash your hands 200 times a day, don't use this hand sanitizer because it will kill you. We're going to get that vaccination out. Well, no, we're not, because it's going to potentially be harmful to you if we take that vaccination. This drug is good for you. We're going to prescribe this drug. Nope, don't take that drug. It's bad for you. Do this, but don't do that. You should definitely wear a mask. You shouldn't wear a mask because if you are asthmatic, that would be bad for you. I mean, it's so confusing. So right now we're in the middle of the hot sports debate. Seems like youth athletics is going along without a hitch. I'm just saying, but we're seeming to have problems with professional sports players wanting to actually participate in a sporting event. Well, folks, that brings me to my next topic. It's completely different from everything I've been talking about, and it hurt my heart and soul. Jake Ryan turned 60 this year, people. And if that wasn't the nail in the coffin for 2020, I don't know what is. 16 candles. Fun fact, Jake's living in Pennsylvania, and he runs an Amish furniture shop. Not like I'm a stalker or anything. I'm just saying. Anyway, I found this funny little sign. I was traveling recently and found a little sign along the road that said, masks. It's not a political debate, it's an IQ test. And I don't know what the people in this picture are doing because none of them are wearing masks. So does that mean if you wear a mask, you fail or you don't fail the IQ test? And if you don't wear a mask, you are failing the IQ test? But the irony in this picture is I'm thinking that it means masks. It's not a political debate, like you're supposed to wear one. And if you don't, you fail an IQ test. The irony in this photograph that I found so hilarious was that nobody was wearing a mask underneath the photo. I'm just saying. Anyway, murder hornets, folks. We caught one live in the field. That sucker had a wingspan of 3 whole inches. A murder hornet was spotted in the Joliet area. Be careful, lock up your children. You know, just, be safe at home, stay inside, do the things you've been normally doing to avoid all human contact whatsoever and hornet contact. Last on the list here, Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci. You know, I think it's odd that the head of who is supposed to be spearheading the forefront of finding a cure for COVID-19, which is our beloved Dr. Fauci, who gets paid a lot of money to do his job, had time to take in a baseball game and throw out the opening pitch for that game. I'm sorry, Dr. Fauci, is it your job to be throwing out the opening pitch at a baseball game, or is it your job to be in the middle of a pandemic finding a freaking cure so we can get back to business as usual? Oddly enough, Dr. Fauci was later pictured at that same ball game where he had time to have a photo op to throw out the game ball. He was caught without his mask. I go back to my first pendulum swings with Dr. Fauci. You should definitely not wear a mask. It's really bad for you. It causes you more harm than good. It'll make you touch your face more frequently. Masks aren't good for the general population. They're only for our healthcare providers. And then fast forward about 3 months later, Dr. Fauci, everybody should wear a mask. You shouldn't go outside without a mask. We should all be wearing masks. Masks are critical importance. And yet, Dr. Fauci has time to not only throw out the game ball, the opening game ball at a baseball game, but then later is caught in the stands, not socially distancing, and sitting next to 2 people, and he is wearing his mask where on his chin, collecting bacteria. I rest my case, folks. That's all I have for you today, folks. It's been a long time coming, and I'm super excited to be back at Distraction News, providing you with not really newsworthy news. You stay safe out there, folks, because truly, it is a shit show.